the shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up. Yeah, I'ma make the shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to part 9 of What If Deku Had Hanma DNA. Last time we left off, Deku went to the forest training arc where Muscular attacked and he absolutely beat the sugar out of Muscular. It's not 30 seconds yet, I can't. And saved Kota, made Kota a real man, watched the What If to figure it out, and stopped Bakiko from getting kidnapped. Now we're back in reality. Deku, as he's returned home, he has a really gut feeling that he needs to get stronger. So without saying anything to anyone, he leaves a note saying, "I'm gonna go train, I'll be back in a week or two." Unknown to Deku, that 2 weeks would be more like a month. He went to that spot from before, with the magical creatures and intense gravity, and he went deeper than he ever went, even past the whole other underground world he found. And with this, he got stronger, and I mean a lot stronger. He was fighting behemoths or beasts, massive dragons, massive apes, anything you can think of, Deku was fighting against it. His strength didn't multiply by 10, not by 100, thousands maybe. And as he finally reached to about, I'd say, the 20th floor, it all became clear to Deku the real way to get stronger. After fighting with a magical beast, a massive lion that could fly, it could also shoot out a weird type of energy. It was wind, but more empowered. And after Deku was hit with this, he felt his veins, his cells be rejuvenized. He had a wind quirk. These beasts have finally reached the strength where it'd be more considered a quirk. Deku can finally get an abundance of quirks from fighting these. And as such, he flies through the dungeon. Or not dungeon really. Fighting beast after beast, gaining more and more ability, stronger fire, water manipulation, gravity control after being underneath that gravity for so long. Anything I will release more on later. But after months go past after Deku lost time, he thought he'd only be in there for a week. He breaks out the surface, and he appears back at UA. He's now even taller, 6'5", and everyone who sees him is just in awe. They can sense his aura is way stronger than before. And as they're all walking through the city, an alarm goes off. "Notice, alarm, alarm! A group of villains known as the League of Villains is attacking the city. And the #1 villain, All For One, is there. We recommend you seek shelter immediately." Hearing this, Deku's blood runs cold. All For One, my father. Deku rushes through the city. The way he sees All Might preparing to go fight this fight, Deku can see that All Might really knows this will be his final fight before he loses his quirk. And as he sees Midoriya there, Izuku there, he goes, "Oh, young Hanma, I knew you'd be here. I only have one request for you. Please stay out of this fight, no matter how much it bears you, even after watching me die. Please stay out of it. This is my only wish, my only request from you." Hearing this, Deku's heart stops seemingly. His entire plan to fight his father had just been stopped by All Might. He'd have to accept his wish, but this by no means means. But Deku does not agree to watching All Might die. As he's watching the fight, it seems to be going normally. Everything that happens in canon happens, except for the part where Kurogiri's portal opens and a bunch of villains rush out and start attacking All Might. They even cut at his weak spot. All Might manages to blast all of them away, but not before All For One could penetrate All Might's skin using that black tentacle, whatever it was, quirk, and brought All Might down to his knees. All Might barely had any single ember left of his quirk. He would feel his body shrinking. "No, I have to keep it up. I have to remain the symbol of peace. If they see me defeated here." He looks up. For the first time he feels fear. A presence he's never felt is radiating from All For One. And he says, one sec guys. Oh. And he says to All Might and says, the symbol of peace on his knees before the symbol of being a villain. What a sight to behold. You were never truly my number one rival to begin with. Now goodbye, All Might. Before he could launch his attack, we cut to Deku, who's watching this trembling. Everyone who was watching with him goes thinking he's about to have a panic attack, until they see his glare. Deku's biting his lip, he's holding himself back from running into it. Blood is literally coming from his lip. They can see the pure look of killing intent radiating from Deku's eyes, his body language, his muscle mass is growing, purple lightning starting to appear over him. They'll go, no Deku, you can't win against that, don't go. Deku snaps, so you think I'm just going to watch All Might die. He's been there for us since we started UA. No, since we were kids fighting against all these villains, keeping us safe. And now you just want to watch us, now you just want me to let him die. You can do that if you wish, but I'm not. Deku rushes, he jumps at full speed, flying towards the battle. The news reporters catch and say, it seems a young man is flying towards the fight. A pointless effort, but he is what a true hero should be. His sacrifice, his death shall not be forgotten. All for one looks alright, but not in time. Deku's punch connects. He can feel All for One's jaw crack, and he sends him flying across the battlefield. And everyone who's seen this is just in shock. All Might, who couldn't even land a decent punch, had just been saved by a boy he sent, the most powerful villain in the world, flying with one punch. All Might, who's still coughing up blood. Young Hanma, I told you to stay out of it. Deku looks at him with a death stare and says, you asked me to watch you die. My idol, you asked me to watch you die. Do you really think I was going to do that, you selfish bastard? Deku takes a deep breath. He bites his finger and drops the blood in All Might's mouth. All of a sudden, All Might's injury, he seems to start healing. Even the most advanced nurses couldn't heal him. It isn't completely healed, but it's enough for All Might to keep his form for at least 2 days straight. His buff form. And he feels the embers of One for All reignite, even if it's only temporary. After making sure All Might was okay, Deku felt his father's presence racing towards him. He looked to the side and blocked. All for One appeared out of nowhere and slammed his fist into Deku. Deku got pushed back slightly but didn't blow away at all. This catches All for One off guard. And he says, you've grown a lot quicker than I expected you to. That punch was meant to knock you out so I could finish the job. Deku glares at his father with killing intent, and he says, I'm a lot stronger than I was before. I might be able to become strong enough to kill you. The killing intent and the raw power that his son is given off, Hanma, Yujiro Hanma, or All for One, is actually not scared, but curious. His son should nowhere near be this strong. By the way, his father doesn't know about the training spot, that's why. This is training that should have took maybe 10, 20 years. And he's done it in a matter of weeks. His father laughs and says, you really are a wonder, Izuku. He throws another punch, but Deku manages to easily dodge out of the way and punch his father right in the chest. His father coughs up blood and flies backwards. The dent in his chest heals quickly, and Deku laughs, saying, so I got my healing factor from you, huh? As he says this, his father laughs and says, you really are my son. He rushes at Deku faster than Deku predicted, and he decks him hard in the stomach. Deku gets sent flying backwards, but it's not like before. This isn't unbearable pain. His organs aren't at all damaged, and he flips. He sees out his father is going to kill All Might yet again. Electricity spreads throughout Deku's entire body, and he rushes towards his father yet again. Instead of this time going for a dead punch, he decides to test out his new technique. And he pulls out 2 fingers, and he sends electricity to the very ends of them. He jabs his father so softly that his father didn't even feel it, and it was at speeds his father couldn't keep up with. He jabs 64 points in his body. All of a sudden, lightning bolts shoot throughout All for One's entire body, and he screams, coughing up blood yet again. He sees his son is now in front of him, in a fighting stance, and he says, this isn't going to be easy, lad. It's either you run, or you die. Seeing this, his dad laughs and rips off his mask. rips off his clothes, and he puts his arm in the air. Deku can realise this sudden change in his aura. His father just activated his demon back. Deku laughs and rips off his clothes as well, lifting his hands and activating his demon back. This is what seriously caught his father off guard. His father had to train for years and years and years to activate his demon back. Somehow this 15-year-old boy had done the same thing with somewhat ease. His dad laughs and says the next generation really will beat the old. And they both lunge at each other with a punch. They both get sent flying backwards, and as they look at the difference, Deku's dad gets pissed. Deku hit him harder than he hit him. Deku's dad got sent flying back farther than Deku did. And Deku laughed and said, "I told you, you old bastard." Next thing you know, Deku's fists are not only covered in lightning, the lightning goes through his veins. His veins turn purple, and his fists get covered in a blue flame. As well as, it gets rotated by wind. And his fists seem to get harder as if they turn into steel. And to top it off, he puts gravity over his fists, and you'll see the effect soon. His dad's curious about this technique. He didn't give his son these quirks. He looks like he's been training a lot harder than his dad thought. Good, that's how it should be. They rushed right towards each other. And this time, Deku's not going to be a fucking dumbass and take a blow. He ducks down beneath it, and his father swings with his full force. Deku uses his god reversal, slaps a hand out of the way, and palms his father's stomach. The gravity manipulation takes effect, and his father's organs get shot down to the very bottom of his body. His lungs get torn out of its socket and all that. He thought this did a lot more damage than he thought, and he deactivates it. He don't want his fight ending too soon, although it might be too late. Deku's dad looks down as his legs are shaking. Or should I say, all four looks down and his legs are shaking. And there's a solid handprint on his stomach that isn't healing. He throws up a bunch of blood. His organs all move to the right place, but the damage that he just took to them is not healing at all. He drops to the ground screaming in agony. "What is this, you bastard of a son?" It takes about 20 seconds for his healing factor to kick in. Deku, seeing this, realises if you can do enough damage, it doesn't matter about the healing factor, it won't work. Deku smirks. He just figured out how he's going to kill his dad, but if he's going to do it, he's going to go full power. He puts his arms to the side of him. His joints start moving about his body. His eyes lock on. He's in his final battle mode, with all his quirks activated, including explosion, by the way. His joints are in his battle form. There's lightning go through his veins. Black lightning, may I add. His dad, who saw this, was very confused. This was something even he couldn't do, but he recognised it straight away. Deku changing his joints has unlocked all his abilities that were somewhat limited, such as now his body would be able to put out output much stronger. He'd be faster, he'd be more resilient. And they rush at each other. Deku actually starts battering his dad, to the point where his dad, who did something he didn't think he'd ever have to do, he started using other quirks. Of course he doesn't normally, but not against his own son. He thought he'd be strong enough to easily dominate him with pure strength. He sends fire, tornadoes, them black and red tentacle things, as many things as he could muster, and Deku just firms it. He does it because this is his way to get stronger. He absorbs all these quirks, gaining access to them, and copies them. And finally, he used something that he didn't think he didn't actually need to. He puts his arm out, and Black Whip shoots out of his arm, wrapping his father up, and it begins tightening, crushing his bones. He pulls him towards him, and Deku, powering up a powerful punch, hits his father straight in the chest. His father's heart stopped for at least a minute, and when he woke up, he was barely out of breath. His power was drained. He was out of breath. His power was drained. He barely was alive. He technically was dead for a minute. Even his muscles just started decaying at that point. Deku stood in front of his father, disappointed. "So I trained this long, this hard, for you to be this weak." Hearing this, his father snapped. His veins himself turned purple. He exploded with power, activating all his quirks at once, and he rushed towards Deku. Deku didn't expect this insane power boost, and the punch he felt was unlike pain he's ever felt. He gets sent flying backwards with his chest caved in. But unlike his father, this took no time to heal at all. Deku could even feel half his heart was gone, but it healed instantaneously. And he shot back up. And he laughed. Is this really all you got? Deku's legs suddenly changed. Not changed really. But wind started pouring out of them. And he zoomed towards his father at speeds that he didn't even expect himself to reach. But it was pointless. His punches were not affecting his father. His father was just hitting him with quirk after quirk after quirk. Punch after punch after punch. Kick after kick after kick. Even Deku's healing factor began slowing down. And this pain was becoming unbearable. But slowly he got used to the pain. It's almost like it stopped existing. And he just laughed and said, "Time to get yourself beat, bastard." Deku leaned all the way back and headbutted his father. They both stumbled backwards. And he yelled, "Enough, we're gonna end this the Hanma way. No dodging. Just throwing punches after punch after punch after punch." His father agreed and said, "That's my boy." They both put their arms up to the side and rushed towards each other. Deku eats the first punch, but he eats it. It did not affect him, and he throws his own. Blood is both drawn from both their punches, and they're thrown. Like All Might and Nomu, remember when they had that combo? It was like that, but between All for One and Deku. These punches, and then Deku he doesn't dodge. He starts kicking as well. This was his father did not expect. His body's so big. He saw as nimble, light on his feet, being able to get kicks off as quick as punches. It's insane. Deku's dad realised he was losing this battle of pure strength. And that's when it happened. A weird type of mystical flame exploded from Deku. And he screamed, "Over this past few months, I hunted sorry guys. I have a chest infection in it and it keeps on fucking me up." He screams, "Over the last few months, a lot has happened. I've hunted a lot of monsters, but the most powerful and most, beneficial one is the legendary mystical beast, the Phoenix." As this fire pours through Deku's body, his strength is multiplied by 10, and the punch that he throws next absolutely obliterates his father. He felt insane pain and burns that weren't healing, and all Deku's injuries from before healed instantly. That's the power of the Phoenix Flame. He's throwing combo after combo. He's moving at such speeds that his father, All for One, cannot even get any punches off. And he screams, "Enough, time to end it." He charges up all the power that he has in his body into his right fist and chucks it forwards. He pierced his father's chest and absolutely obliterated his body, mostly. His father laid there lifeless, saying, "You passed my first test. Don't think that this is over." Kurogiri appeared up underneath him and sucked him up. Deku tried lunging through the portal but got blown away. All for One had run away. Deku screams, "Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it," and he punches the ground. All Might stands next to Deku, placing his hand on his shoulder, saying, "Young Hanma, it is okay. You did more than anyone expected you to do. You did more than I could. You proved yourself to be the next candidate for #1 hero." He screams at All Might, "Shut the fuck up! That was my chance to prove to everyone that I was strong enough. That was my chance to get revenge. That was my chance to beat my dad." Hearing this, All Might's caught off guard. Dad? All Might never really caught on that was his dad. Lucky enough, all the news reports at that time had turned off or been blown away. And he looks at All Might with tears in his eyes. "Yes, I said dad. What, you old bastard? You don't know what it means?" All Might seeing this sees the sadness in Deku's eyes and says, "It's alright, young Midoriya. You proved your strength. And next time, there will be no chance of escape." Anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy season 1 of What If Deku Had blah blah blah. We're gonna be back, give me a week or two. But yeah, I do hope you do enjoy. Season 1 is over, but it's no big deal. It will be back soon. And what next arc is gonna start the overhaul arc. And then season 2 will be the final season, don't worry. But other than that guys, I hope you do enjoy. Like and subscribe. The more likes we get, the quicker we'll get to the final part, the next season. And other than that, see you later.